handle the truth.
Isn't it incredible that the person who's claiming for people to come and tell the truth is the person least qualified to do that? If that is not a class or a lesson in gaslighting, or whether Meghan Markle has absolutely lost her mind, or maybe it is the fact that she's able to get away over and over and over by flaunting her lies, most serious lies, that she thinks that she can say these things, because maybe if she says them over and over, she will convince herself and manage to convince idiots that still give her a platform that she didn't earn. She slept her way into it, and a platform which she has abused. And the family, the royal family, the palace, is now finally willing to take action in the worst possible way for Meghan Markle. And talking about lies, I'm just going to show you a couple of things here, because you need to hear it. You really need to hear it, because Meghan Markle is in shock. And what is worse is her latest allegation is that the palace was in on it. I mean, and we're going to see the real lies and how the palace actually did know about it, but did try to stop it. And why, the real reason why Harry and Meghan left, fled, because the family were saying enough. And now, in a shock move, the succession removal seems a real reality for Meghan Markle, which is something that she was not counting on when she published that ridiculous video, an afterthought, a very badly doctored Father's Day video, an afterthought, heavily featuring 2 or 3 Lilies and 4 or 5 Archies. And I am going to show you which one seems to me to be the real Archie. Now get ready for this ride, beautiful people, because it is going to be a shocker.
If you could rewrite your public narrative from scratch, is there anything that you would do differently? Yes, I would ask people to tell the truth.
I have full body chills right now.
That's exactly Meghan Markle demanding that people tell the truth about her. She can't handle the truth, because in this podcast is a clapback at that Vanity Fair. Remember what we told you guys about that Vanity Fair? There was absolutely zero way in hell that Meghan Markle was going to allow herself to be outed by Vanity Fair, the Hollywood Reporter, the Daily Beast. I mean, everybody who's anybody is calling her out, is calling her a bully. It's calling her mediocre. I mean, everybody is calling her untalented. She hasn't been able to make anything of her. Why isn't Oprah interviewing her anymore? Because even Oprah now knows that she's a nobody. So Meghan Markle is out there saying to people, have to tell the truth about me. Be careful what you ask for, sweetie. And because you're asking, I am willing to comply, because in this channel, people, we aim to please. And by the way, don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe. And my name is Paula M. if you're new. And if returning, I super appreciate you. Okay, and click the notification bell. And thanks for the super chat, guys. It really, and the PayPal donations, it will go to the shelter. So let's please Meghan Markle, shall we? I mean, this woman, when I exposed her fake birth certificate for Lilibet, and then Dan Wooten played it in his platform, which is clearly a more mainstream platform, she started devolving. You know, when she went on Jamie Kern Lima, I'm not in the proving game anymore. I don't have to prove that I'm beautiful. No, you don't, because you're not. You're not. No matter how many plastic surgeries you do, you're not, Meghan. You're not a nice person. You're not a kind person. You're not a smart person. You're broke. Your husband lives in New York. He already has another woman. He spends most of his time with the kids. Yes, there are kids, but they're not. Now, after I exposed also that her great grandparents were half siblings, and according to the insider at the clinic, she didn't make the payments for 6 months, so her eggs went to waste. So now I'm even questioning myself if those kids are even hers, which would indicate the detachment. So after that little unraveling, we have Meghan Markle now proving to the world that she is pregnant and that she carried Lily. She thinks that she's proving to the world that, I had a baby with this clearly fake belly with everything wrong because she's that mediocre. Exactly. Meanwhile, she forgot that it was 2021 at the height of COVID.
Yeah, my dad died when we were in the middle of that. I still had 3.5 days of quarantine left, so I wasn't allowed to leave. There's no compassionate grounds. I tried to get the production to I said, you can test me 100 times a day if I have COVID, but I need to get out of this room. I was in pretty severe grief, obviously, and shock. But no, they wouldn't allow it.
Hospitals are banning spouses, partners, and any other guests from being inside delivery, and postpartum rooms because of the coronavirus crisis. More than 300,000 people have signed a petition against that precaution. If you've ever given birth, you know it's terrifying and exhilarating at the same time, and you'd like to see familiar faces.
Honestly, Gail, I'm devastated. We just found out that my husband, as of now, can't be in the delivery room with me. Honestly, it felt like someone knocked the wind out of me.
That is Gail King reporting. And that is Santa Barbara. That is May 2021. Actually, it was 2 days before Meghan Markle gave birth to Lily, where all the sanctions were putting that no spouse was to be inside the rooms. They were very limited. They were not even allowed to come at the doctor's visit. How's that for a lie, Meghan Markle?
You see my baby mama dance? I mean, stop it. First of all, can I just tell you that, and that honesty and that, I don't give a
But
kind
also,
of thing.
by the way, that wasn't yesterday.
No,
That was 4 years ago.
That video was recorded less than a month ago. How about that for a lie? Yet we are okay here sitting in. This is incredible. It is kind of like a sickness. It is a sickness in the sense, not that she doesn't know what she's doing, is that, like we always talk in this channel, bullies, when they're not stopped, liars, psychopath, when they're not stopped, their behavior escalates until they push it too far. That is, they always, there's a saying something about the camel's back breaking, but I can't remember with what. But let's go there. Now, Meghan Markle is claiming that she wants people to tell the truth about her. Staff that they just recently very pompously hired quit, left, and they said that she's the worst person that they could ever work for. We all know how Meghan Markle feels about Archie. We all know that Meghan Markle is a racist because we all have seen Meghan Markle's face when, just now, for example.
I see a lot of my wife in Archie. I see a lot of my mum in Lily. She's very Spencer-like. She's got the same blue eyes.
Blue eyes.
Sort of like a...
You can see that when Harry says that Archie takes after Meghan, he can see a lot of Meghan and Archie. But then Lily is a lot like the Spencers, red hair, blue eyes. And you can see Meghan Markle's face, blue. But even in that doctor video that it was posted as an afterthought of recorded videos on Netflix, because most of that is footage from Netflix. Some of them is August, Eugenie's son, when she was visiting them. I mean, tell the truth, Meghan Markle. That is an alien concept for this woman. It is incredible to me that I am witnessing, just when I think I can't be any more shocked, I am. And let's start with Archie with the lies, because the royal family, she is right in one thing. The royal family were onto her because clearly they did not want her part of the royal family. Like, you're going to listen to this clip and tell me what you think, because it's clear from it that they were doing everything in their power not to give Harry a title and to send Meghan back to the United States, and that if they had children, they would be with no titles. You watch and you tell me what you think.
Letters to his family when I got there saying, I am dedicated to this. I'm here for you.
But that was right at the beginning when she wasn't going to get security, when members of my family were suggesting that she carries on acting because there's not enough money to pay for her and all this sort of stuff. Like, there was some real obvious signs before we even got married that this was going to be really hard.
So in conclusion, if you'd had the support, you'd still be there?
Without question.
Yeah.
You can clearly see that the royal family didn't want this woman in the family, that they were doing everything in their power. I mean, they even went as far as saying they didn't have any money. They didn't have any money for her because she was bleeding them dry. She hadn't even married them or Harry, and she was already bullying her way. The royal family knew what this woman was capable of, and they were trying in every way possible to discourage. I believe that the queen did not want to give Harry a duke title. But like she said, I wrote letters and I said, use me. I want to do this. Because she knew that if she didn't say that, she wouldn't get the title. But Meghan says to Oprah here that the reason why they didn't do the photo call is because they didn't ask her. These are her words. Apparently the press didn't want a picture.
Feels to me like things started to change when you and Harry decided that you were not going to take the picture that had been a part of the tradition for years. And
We weren't asked to take a picture. That's also part of the spin that was really damaging. I thought, can you just tell them the truth? Can you say to the world, you're not giving him a title and we want to keep him safe, and that if he's not a prince, then it's not part of the tradition? Just tell people and then they'll understand.
What she's basically saying there is that either you give me a prince title for my kid or you won't get the photo call. And they intermixed it with security because the queen was saying to them, we don't want you to be working royals. They didn't want this mess in their hands. They couldn't have been more clearer when they said, no, you're not going to get this, you're not going to get that. But they pushed their way in when the family, they even offer Meghan, go back to acting, we'll help you because we have no money. You're not going to get security. And Meghan Markle quickly admits that they were even willing to change. She calls it the convention, but the queen wanted to do was issue a letters patent.
I think even with that convention I'm talking about, while I was pregnant, they said they want to change the convention for Archie. Well, why?
Yes, the queen wanted to issue a letters patent saying that Harry's kids were not going to hold any titles and were not going to be in the line of succession, because it is my firm belief that the royal family suspected that Meghan Markle could not have children and that they were tricking them. But the royal family was put in a very delicate position. So how about telling the truth about that, Meghan Markle? Because it is very obvious that the royal family didn't want them there. That the titles meant the world to them. And listen to what she says now.
having the title gives you the safety and protection.
Yeah, but also it's not their right to take it away.
Yeah.
Right?
She says that it's not up to the monarch to decide that it's their birthright. No. You see, and this is where a lot of people who come to my channel don't get it. Harry didn't have a birthright to be a prince. It was up to the monarch to give it as a gift. Any title or style is always honorary and belongs to the crown. Harry can wake up tomorrow and be Harry Mountbatten Windsor or whatever he wants to call himself. Even Harry admits that had it not been for you, he would have never left the royal family.
Okay, but here's the question. Do you think you would have left or ever stepped back were it not for Meghan?
No, the answer to your question is no.
You would not have.
Meghan Markle lying, saying that they took away her passport, her driver's license, and she didn't go anywhere because she was virtually a prisoner.
I mean, you have to understand as well, it's when I joined that family, that was the last time until we came here that I saw my passport, my driver's license, my keys. all that gets turned over. I didn't see any of that anymore.
So I guess the trip to Ibiza with Elton John, the 2 trips to Italy, one to Lake Como, the trip that you made New York for the baby shower, the 4 trips you make to Toronto, Canada, how did you fly there? The trips, secret trips you made to California, the trip to Amsterdam that you made with Harry. How about how about you telling the truth? Now, the most disgusting part of it all, guys, is that she is saying that the royal family knew that she did not carry Archie and they signed off on it. She basically wants to say that the royal family forced her to lie, forced her to say that that is her child, forced her because it was an imposition for her because she's not gonna. She is absolutely insane. And just get ready because she's preparing this huge bomb. Do you think that Meghan Markle doesn't have ways out? She's blaming the royal family for everything. Just in this, the most stupidest lie when she says that finally she's back in social media in her own terms.
That now being back on social as well, I have a place where I can share it.
I exposed her account over 2 years ago. I think she opened it in June 2022, I believe, because she thought she'd be divorced from Harry by then. You can see here, and I called it out, and I said, because Serena Williams is following her. Why would Serena Williams be following this account? No, you're insane. She's not in social media. It's the trolls. People are trolling. So how about you telling the truth that you've been in social media for at least 2.5 years? 3 now. How about you telling the truth that you have another fake account on Twitter that you and Harry use? That, by the way, you blocked me and P. Dinah. That is your account, yours and Harry's, and you post all your stuff there. Chris Barron Smith, I believe. Not very imaginative. How about start telling the truth of all the Photoshop pictures you put? That you're not an entrepreneur, that you owe money to people because you sold a product and the product hasn't been delivered to people. People are still waiting for it. How about the lie that you claim your father died or you lost your father? Your father has done so multiple interviews asking for you to reconcile. How about the biggest lie, Meghan Markle? Can you tell me what career you left?
I left my career, my life. I left everything because I love him.
Is that you are such a bully. I mean, how many, I can understand maybe 1 or 2 people saying, oh, she's nasty or, and they're angry. But everybody, 28 producers in Spotify, Bill Simmons calling you out, a fucking grifter. But now blaming the palace, saying that they knew all along that you couldn't have children. And what really did it for this is according to an insider, guys, that according to the palace, they are going to remove Archie and Lili from the line of succession. And they're not going to wait for William to be king. And if you ask me, I am glad about that. I am glad about that because she pushed too far. She pushed too far. She lied too much. Because again, this is a woman who clearly doesn't think before she speaks. How many times are we going to see the real Meghan? Why didn't you post that video of your twerking with Netflix? I'm sure Netflix would have loved that little clip of you twerking at the hospital in 2021 during COVID. Why? Because you never did it. You went back a month ago to do it at the hospital. That's why Netflix didn't get it. It's lying her way of life. And I'm glad that the palace finally understood that this is not good for them. It is incredible because this woman doesn't understand that every interview she gives, it's a nail in her coffin. It's digging herself deeper and deeper and deeper And it's not going to end well for Meghan Markle. I can tell you that, because the royal family at the end of the day is going to protect Harry, not going to protect Meghan. And if you ask me, this little boy is Archie. This little boy, ethnic looking, like a black, darker version of Meghan Markle when she was younger. That is the real Archie. And that is why Meghan doesn't show him. Because that is the real Archie, in my humble opinion. Please do let me know if you agree. And you can see Harry's better at reading than Meghan Markle, because these two that you're watching here are supposed to be Archie at 1 year old. One has no hair, completely white, and no teeth. The other one is got a lot of hair. It looks dark. He looks dark and has a lot of teeth. And they're both 1 year old. And they're both Archie. Not good. Not a good day for Meghan Markle.
Bearing in mind, you're still discovering things about each other.
Things that were said and the things that were written that I had to go to her to ask.